10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1,
Manchester United have
0.
reached the promised land.
Good morning, everybody. Well, good Friday to everybody. Might be a bank holiday, but I'm here on United People's TV with you, talking about, you might be surprised, Erik Ten Hag, not just about Erik Ten Hag. As I said to you on the stream yesterday, it's unlikely we're going to get any sort of update, major update, until Ajax play PSV on Sunday evening. That is the case, but it doesn't mean that we can't talk about next season. It doesn't mean that we can't talk about players leaving after reports coming out of 6 players that are expected to leave Manchester United. And I tell you what, it could be more than that. It could be, I wouldn't say an unprecedented summer of change, because if we, and we will, we're going to take a look back at maybe Louis van Gaal's first year. We're going to have a look through how much change have United actually been able to do in one season before, for a bit of context. Also going to be taking a look at what happened in Guardiola's first summer at City, at Klopp's first summer with Liverpool, and comparing that to what's going on at Manchester United. Going to be speaking about that. Going to be speaking about Tchouaméni, which I know a lot of you want to talk about. Going to speak about the Old Trafford development plans that were announced yesterday. Lots and lots to talk about. And it's Good Friday, so make sure you drop a like on the video. How are we all doing this morning? Aaron, you're down there. Blessed, nice to see you. Or, oh, look at that, you've joined in from work. Isn't that nice of you? Anuj, nice to see you. Prakash, Rebecca, Pedro, Paula, Anthony, Sashi, all the way from Japan. United forever. Good morning to everybody, right? It's the weekend. United are probably going to draw against Norwich tomorrow. I'll be completely honest. You'll notice that I didn't do a match build-up for the Everton game. Or did I? I can't remember. I don't think I did. And I have no intention of doing one today for Norwich. In my opinion, the season's finished. The season, gone, right? I don't think that's going to change. No, it won't change. We're not getting top 4. Done and dusted. So I would rather spend my time speaking about things that I think are more important. So that's why the video this afternoon is going to be a good one, actually. I'm speaking to Ajax, who is an Ajax fan. And I'm going to be getting the sort of inside story on Erik Ten Hag from the perspective of an Ajax fan. Because I'm going to do it in a sort of respectful way. Because obviously they've got a cup final on Sunday. That they will be happy to see that Leicester, by the way, not PSV, out of the Europa Conference League with 2 late goals. So that'll put PSV in a bad mood. But I'm going to do that video to sort of get an inside story on Ten Hag, what the fans think of him, what the fans think of everything that's gone on in the last week or so. Be an interesting one. So I think you want to check that one out. But thinking about Man United's problems, we know we've got huge squad problems. Huge squad problems. And we all know that we need to make big sales this summer. So this is the report coming out from the Manchester Evening News this morning, actually, saying Manchester United have agreed the permanent transfer of Andreas Pereira to Flamengo. Yes, please. There were stories yesterday that it was all good. It was all done and dusted. It wasn't, no, not done and dusted, the complete opposite. That it wasn't actually going to happen. Remember, he was linked with a £10 million move before, and that didn't happen. We were like, what are United doing? But Pereira leaving, and then 5 other names. Lee Grant, Juan Mata, Edinson Cavani, Jesse Lingard, and Paul Pogba are all expected to leave this summer. So that is 6 names there on that list. Pereira, Grant, Mata, Cavani, Lingard, and Pogba. Good. Andreas Pereira needs to leave. We need to get a bit of money for him. Jeez, move him on. Done. Lee Grant, you know what I think about Lee Grant. Is he a wallpaper guy? Is he a receptionist? I don't know what he is, but he's had an absolute killing at Manchester United for the last few years. Brought in as a backup goalkeeper. I'm sure he's been a very good backup goalkeeper because that's what he's had to do. He's basically been paid to train and stay fit. That's been Lee Grant's Manchester United career. Good. Move him on. Juan Mata. We've already had conversations about Juan Mata. I've done my video explaining my keep or sell list. I won't run through the whole thing here, but you can check that out. I will refer to it, though. But Juan Mata, his contract expires, so there's no point renewing that. I would much rather see the minutes go to someone like Hannibal Medri, and we've spoken about that. Edinson Cavani, goodbye. Man, it's such a shame it ended, and it has ended the way it kind of has, with a bit of, not anger. Anger's the wrong word, but frustration, I suppose, at a player who seems to get injured constantly and also seems to choose when he wants to play. Bit weird. Jesse Lingard, goodbye. Paul Pogba, goodbye. 6 players there, but I'll be completely honest, right? If I was to go back over here and I was to look at my list that I did, I think there's a couple I would change on here. But on my sell list, I've got Axel Tuanzebe. I really feel for the guy. I think that had he not got his injuries at that time when we were really looking for a centre-back, I think he could have properly, genuinely established himself at United, but I don't think he'll do that anymore. So I stand by the fact. So if that's 6, that's plus to Anzebe. I don't want to see Anthony Martial back at the club. In the same way that I want Paul Pogba to leave, and the idea that this is a fresh start, I want Martial to leave. It's part of the fresh start. So that's 8 players. You got Lingard, Pogba, Grant, Maguire, and Wan-Bissaka. Maybe I was a bit harsh. I don't think either of them will be sold this summer. But I think certainly Wan-Bissaka's a real threat. But United, I don't think we have the ability and the finances, really, to be able to sell both of those and replace them, given what we're already doing. But then Phil Jones, he's got to be leaving. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players there that I think realistically should be leaving. 4 players are leaving on a free. Andreas Pereira's been loaned out for what, 2 seasons already? He's kind of already gone. But 9 players, that is a substantial amount of change. Is that unrealistic? And I'll tell you one thing. Look, let's go over to see the news coming up. This is a story coming out from Jonathan Traeger yesterday that Nemanja Matic will be leaving this summer. Now, what's your opinion on that? You let me know in the comments what you think about that. I had him down on my, what list? On the edge. I put him on the edge. I just personally didn't think that Manchester United would be able and capable of getting rid of Matic this summer. Given the fact that we already need to sign one, I would probably argue, even before Matic leaves, 2 midfielders. And maybe one of those midfielders is James Garner. But Matic, look, or you're down here in the comments. Look, I'm not saying I'm unhappy with Matic. I'm happy with the idea that Matic is going, but Man United are thin as hell in that area. He can come on and play certain games, and he does have the qualities. It's mad to think that Ronaldo's 3 years older than him, right? Because Matic just looks old. Matic is an old 34-year-old. That's how he looks. I personally would be a little bit surprised if United were to let him go and weaken an already weak part of our squad. But if we are, for me, hopefully that fills me with a little bit of hope that Manchester United really are looking at spending big on midfielders this summer, because we have to. Rebecca going down here. Look, as long as we get a replacement for him, yeah, good. Dr. Chunky Biscuit, last name. Everyone loves a Chunky Biscuit. Get rid of Matic. About time, says Blessed. Hasn't been the same since surgery, but Simon, you're saying you need to keep him as a backup. I would be a little bit surprised, genuinely. I would be a little bit surprised if he left, but maybe he'll leave too. So if Matic was to leave, plus these 6 players here, Andreas Pereira, Lee Grant, Juan Mata, Edison Cavani, Jesse Lingard, and Pogba, and then we head over to the list that I had, and I said Axel Tuanzebe should probably be on that list. Anthony Martial should probably be on that list. Phil Jones should probably be on that list. We're looking, realistically here, at 10 or so players to leave in one summer. You type it in the comments, yes or no. Do you think that's possible? Do you think that's genuinely possible for Manchester United to do in one summer? The question isn't, do you think it's possible for Man United to sell 10 players and bring 10 new players in? That's not going to happen. All right. But that's not necessarily what should happen. Mata and Lingard leaving, Hannibal Mejbri just gets pushed up in the squad. That's 2 players replaced for 1. Fine. But it's a lot to get done in one summer. I mean, we'd all love it to happen, but I'm not sure. Let me see what you think down here. Anthony, you think it can? Stefan, Pete, you both think it can as well. Carl on Facebook, Anna, do you think too as well? A lot of you, Paula, you think so as well. But Miracle, you're saying no. No. I'm a little bit torn, right? And that's why I wanted to take a look at this, actually, because I think this is quite important. Context is everything. I think so anyway, when it comes to looking at what could happen and what might not happen, right? Ideally, we want that to happen. What have Manchester United done in the past? What I'm going to do now is take a look at the transfer histories of Manchester United and Man City and Liverpool to understand what's the biggest summer we've had in terms of departures. I'll tell you what, it might be the first year under Louis van Gaal. Going down here, look at that list. I remember this summer. It was crazy. Welbeck left. Kagawa left. Butner left. Zaha left. Hernandez went. Bebe. Patrice Evra. Makeda. Down here, Ferdinand. Vidic. Fletcher. Anderson. My God. Nani. Yeah, it's definitely this one. Ryan Giggs retired as well. Jesus, that is definitely the biggest. 14-15, that first summer under Louis van Gaal saw a huge shift. And look how much United backed him. 175 million he spent. Di Maria, Shaw, Herrera, Rojo, Blind, Falcao, Milinkovic, Savic. He never played for us. That was always one of the weirdest signings in the world. That's a big summer. So in that sense, the precedent is there. Manchester United, in Louis van Gaal's first summer, we got rid of just as many players. In the same way that this summer we're walking into 4 contract expiries. Why matter? Paul Pogba, Jesse Lingard. I can't remember what the 4th one is. But players are going to be leaving for free. In the same way that the likes of Ferdinand left on a free, Vidic left on a free, Giggs retired. Bit of a shifting of the guard, if you know what I mean. So it can be done. We've done it before. We've absolutely done it before. And we look at the year after. How many players we get rid of that summer? Di Maria, Hernandez left. That was terrible. Johnny Evans left. That was bad timing. Nani left on a permanent deal. Raphael. That really pissed me off. 3 million, Raphael. Not as big. Season after. Let's go and see it again. No, not as severe. Morgan Schneidlin. Memphis. Paddy McNair. Tyler Blackett. Will Keane. That was unfortunate. Year after, it's not anywhere near as bad. But yeah, that first season under Louis van Gaal there, that goes to show, look at what United were able to do in one summer there. I remember that. It was a significant amount of spending and also a significant amount of exits. So if it can happen for Louis van Gaal, who's to say it can't happen for Erik Ten Hag? I don't personally think it will, but that's the pessimistic United fan in me telling me that things won't go how you want it to go. But then we've got Erik Ten Hag, so maybe it will. But what I want to do now, I think this is going to be a very interesting comparison because we talk about how much Ten Hag needs to be backed, right? We talk about how much this squad needs an overhaul, right? There's so much we talk about. I want to take a look at the first summer, under Pep Guardiola at City, and also the first summer under Klopp at Liverpool. What were they backed with? What players left those clubs as part of the first step in their rebuild? I think that'll be an interesting one to take a look at. Let me go down here and read a few of your comments out before I move on. As always, I do try and interact here on United People's TV, so make sure you drop a like on the video. And if you'd like to become a subscriber, then you can join in the comments. Or you're saying, playing devil's advocate, Ten Hag turned Seb Haller from an underperforming forward into one of the best number 9s. So maybe there's hope for Martial. I mean, maybe. But nah, not for me. I'm done. I'm done with... I put that in the same conversation as Paul Pogba. Yeah, I could talk about it. I could talk about how Pogba could be that sort of grab and birch type. No, I can't be asked. Screw it. Move on, man. I'm bored of that conversation. Martial... I'm kind of bored of that conversation. I want to be having new conversations at United with different players. Just bored. Bored of that. So, in my opinion, I hope not, but we don't know. So, look, let's take a quick look at the first summer at City under Guardiola, because plenty went on that summer. First of all, look how much he was back with. John Stones arriving, Leroy Sané, Gabriel Jesus, Ilkay Gundogan, Claudio Bravo, Nolito. They spent, nearly 200 million. But again, look at the big outlets. Stevan Jovetic, Zeko, Boni, Demichelis, Mangala, Nasri, Joe Hart. I didn't realise that Zinchenko was there and he went on loan. He came back. No, I never knew that. Backed big. Aaron Moy. Forgot Aaron Moy was there as well. He was backed big and able in one summer to put a significant dent in the squad that existed inside the City team that he didn't want. And United have got to follow that example. So again, if we look, I'm looking at one example there of inside Manchester United, Louis van Gaal's first summer. We got rid of a ton of players. We brought in loads, backed him to the tune of nearly 180 million. First season for Pep Guardiola at Man City. He was backed to the tune of nearly 200 million and at the same time was able to shift 5, 6, 7, 8 players out. Manchester United need to follow that. And look, it's a similar sort of story when you look over towards Liverpool, not on the same scale as what Man City were doing in terms of investment, but he was bought. They bought Sadio Mane, Jorginho Wijnaldum, Matic came in, Karius. So they spent around 70 million, but then Benteke left, Jordan Ibe, Joe Allen, Martin Skirtle. Who else down here? Sacco, Balotelli, Kolo Toure. Yeah, John Flanagan. Geez, he was a bang average player, wasn't he? Not in terms of scale, City's was grander. Spent a lot more money, bigger names leaving, but still backed. Not as much went down in that summer for Liverpool by comparison of City. But both of those are examples of our two biggest rivals having their manager and the first summer, then being back with new signings, and also just as important, I would say, is getting rid of the players inside that squad that just shouldn't be there. And that's what Manchester United have got to do this summer, right? So we're talking about the idea that these 6 players are going to be leaving. Pereira, Grant, Mata, Cavani, Lingard, and Pogba. But you can add probably Martial to that list. You can probably add Phil Jones to that list. And you can probably add Axel Tuanzebe to that list. So in my opinion, there's 9, maybe 10 players, depending if you're being... You could probably add Erik Bailly to that potential list. It sounds like he's frustrated. It sounds like he wants to be moving away. And if you're talking about Erik Bailly with that frustration, then you're probably talking about Dean Henderson with that frustration. There are so many players with just uncertain futures that you're not sure whether they're happy or not at Manchester United. And you're thinking, are you really going to be here in a season or two? You just don't know. It's just so much has to happen this summer, man. So much has to happen. It's ridiculous the amount of things that have got to go down in one summer. It's impossible for it to all happen in one summer. In terms of Manchester United's squad being overhauled, that is a 3-year process. It was the exact same at Man City. It was the exact same at Liverpool. It's even if you had a blank check, I don't think it's sustainable enough for a coach to come in, bring in 9 new players and fit them all in at once. It's about 2 or 3 at a time. Boom, get them embedded. Next summer comes along, 2 or 3 more. Those 2 or 3 are already settled in. Good, 2 or 3 on top. It's more sustainable to buy 3 players 3 years in a row than 9 players in one season. That's how it was built at Liverpool. That's how it was built at City. And it's what United need to do. Is Axel not starting at Napoli? I'm not sure, Jason. Ten Hag, says Matthew. Do a Fergie and bring in the youth and trust them. It will take time, but why not? He has some great young talent. He will do that, Matt. Look, if you saw my video yesterday, I ran through 5 academy players that I think we should be excited about coming through under Erik Ten Hag. Charlie McNeil was top of my list. He's only 18. He has not really played for the under-23s yet, but he's been banging them in this season. 21. Last season, it was 24 and 21 for the under-18s. Amazing. 5-5 in the FA Youth Cup run. I talked about Alejandro Garnacho, the 17-year-old Argentinian who's already training with the senior team. Be exciting to see those two. Realistically, Alvaro Fernandez, I think, can come through as a fullback. We definitely need strength in that position. Maybe Brandon Williams comes back from Norwich. I don't know whether he's going to suit Erik Ten Hag. Alvaro Fernandez is somebody who plays a far more progressive and aggressive fullback style. Then you've got Hannibal Mejbri, who will come through, as I said, and he's just going to replace Juan Mata and Jesse Lingard inside. The minutes that they used to get, they'll go to Hannibal. I can't wait to see that. And then Jimmy Garner. We've had conversations about him, the most experienced of all the lot, but he's still only 21. And we know we need midfield options. There are 5 academy players that will come through, but it's not just a case of, just play the kids. Bring the kids through. There is no... Class of 92 was a goddamn one-off. It's kind of skewed the reality of what an academy is. That doesn't happen. United were just gifted at that point to have those players coming through at the same time. Gifted. And it would never happen again. An absolute anomaly of academy production. But there's definitely players who we can cherry pick that we should be bringing through. But you have to combine that with new signings, fresh faces. Always down in the comments saying, just so excited for a fresh start. Man, I can't wait for it. I'm tired, Robbie. I'm tired. When's it going to end? I don't know when it's going to end, but I can look forward to next season with some real optimism now. But my football club's, I tell you what, it's starting to operate like a football club, man. Say it quietly. But we're hearing about a big squad overhaul. This summer is crucial. This summer will really tell us whether it's a false dawn in terms of how this club operates. If this club operates how it should be doing this summer, we're looking at minimum 6 players leaving. 4 are already leaving on a free. The club doesn't have to lift a finger. Just 4 walk out the door. No negotiations required. So we should be able to negotiate for 2, 3, 4 more on top of that, in my opinion, anyway. At the same time as that, we need to be bringing in my opinion, at least a central midfielder, defensive midfielder minded, at least a striker, absolute minimum of those 2, and ideally a new centre back as well. And if we're being greedy, then we'll probably go for a right winger too. But look, I dare not speak his name. He's effectively Voldemort now. Ed Woodward, the absolute snake, the absolute twat that he was. The man, the architect of our tailspin as a football club was and remains Ed Woodward. He's basically David Cameron calling a referendum because he was losing power and then just running away. That's what he's done. After the last 7 or 8 years, he's just tried and tried. Not really listened to anyone. Not really done what's best in mind for the club. He's just done what he fancied doing. Oh, yeah, I played Football Manager once. Yeah, let's try and sign. Yeah, go on, bring him in. Lovely. What do you mean, Lou? You don't want Di Maria? Nah, sorry, we're getting Di Maria in. Shut your face. I'm in control of this. He's gone. And we keep hearing about delegation from Richard Arnold, and we don't know whether it's lip service or not. I'll tell you what, we got Radnick in. I thought that was the right decision. I stand by that. Hopefully he can go in that consultancy role, which still at this moment in time, it's undefined. There isn't any more clarity on his role. I find that very surprising. Maybe it's just going to be very clear in the week or 2 after Erik Ten Hag signs that sweet, sweet deal. Marty down here saying that Ten Hag's not the new Messiah. Nobody here is saying that Ten Hag is the new Messiah. What we're talking about here is that the overall change that we can see happening at our football club. Ten Hag is the guy, the archangel, the guy coming in that we hope can really genuinely coach Manchester United's squad properly, week in, week out. We're doing the same thing every week, guys. No fucking about, no changing. No, just get better at it. What do you mean you're not fit enough? Go and do some extra runs. What do you mean it's tough? I don't care if it's tough. They're going to keep doing it and doing it and doing it until the players either break and they get sold or they mold into it and they become better players because of it. That sort of intensity can only be driven when an identity is like the absolute core and the foundation. Under Solskjaer, did we have an identity? Well, I would say we were a counter-attacking team, but that's about it. Unfortunately for him, his identity was based on cliches, which only went so far. It's probably why we were so good at coming from behind. Giggity. But Manchester United just built that fantastic habit under Solskjaer again of not being out of games. Fair enough. And other managers too. I can't be asked to speak to the other managers. Tim, you're saying apparently Ralph will be concentrating on scouting and innovations. I like that word, innovations. And look, I suppose I'll quickly move on to this. Wasn't going to speak about it now, but we heard news yesterday. Don't know whether this is simply a nice bit of timing for Manchester United to release this, given there's supposed to be a bit of a protest tomorrow. But we had communication from the club, official communication, that Old Trafford master planners have been appointed. And this team of consultants here, Legends International and Populous, if you're looking at what they've been involved in, it's quite exciting for Old Trafford and the idea. So Manchester United are absolutely looking to redevelop Old Trafford, right? That's good news. That's what we want. It's absolutely what we want. It's absolutely... I mean, in an ideal world, Old Trafford wouldn't get knocked down. I don't personally see how it's a sustainable idea. I really, really struggle to see how we're going to redevelop that entire stadium and expand the South Stand while still playing football at Old Trafford. I just don't know how it's going to happen. If that could have happened before, why hasn't it happened before? What's changed? Don't know. Let's see there. But at least we're hearing that. And the reason I should be, I'm telling you about the excitement of Populous and Legends International, they've been in control of and part of the new Spurs stadium. They're part, I think Legends International are controlling the Bernabeu redevelopment. I think they were in control of the Nou Camp 1 too. I think also they helped with the Sophie? No. LA Rams Stadium. That's a sexy stadium. It's cool, right? I like the idea, but my, I suppose, big concern about this is we're talking about a lovely brand new stadium, brand new home. What are you going to put in it? Europa League football. Come on, mate. How about you sort the first team out before the idea that we might be building a new stadium? It's a bit weird. Don't know whether it's, as I said, I don't know whether it's lip service at this point, but let's find out what happens, eh? Let's find out what goes on. Madhouse, I tell you what, I'll spoiler alert. I was going to do this at some point, but you put it down as a good comment there. I'm actually going to be doing this. It's already down as an idea that I've had, but I haven't done the research just yet. If you have looked into how the Glazers financed the Buccaneers Stadium, it's not good. It's really, really not good. And that's a big concern that we've all got. It's like, yeah, we've got a brilliant, shiny new stadium, but the Glazers aren't going to fucking pay for it. So who's going to pay for it? Is it just going to be Manchester United's loan going up? Big, significant concern of United fans. And I think that's absolutely fair to have that concern. Michael here, super late to the party. How you doing, buddy? How you doing there, buddy? Have a lovely Easter. Lovely Easter to you too. Drop a like on the video. If you're new here to United People TV, welcome aboard. I try to be as interactive as I can be on the channel, so I do answer your comments. Before we quickly move on, there is a video I want to drop in here because this has been going around this week. It's from BetVictor, and it's about the fiercest rivalry in the Premier League. And there's a comment here from Adam McCullough that I want to run through, and I've got something to say about it.
I think the most fiercest rivalry, and not derby, was Manchester United Arsenal. There was always a little bit of needle there, needle between the managers, needle between the players, the captains, everything. You see Kevin De Bruyne and that walking off the pitch, shaking each other's hands, holding each other and that, and it's all a bit friendly. So I do think in terms of football wise and the quality of football, it's right up there with the Arsenal Manchester United stuff.
Look, I don't know how this is genuinely coming out as an argument that the Liverpool City rivalry goes anywhere near that United Arsenal rivalry. Genuinely, I don't know whether they're just doing it to wind United fans up or whether they're actually so deluded that they genuinely think it compares. It makes no sense whatsoever. Liverpool and City are rivals in terms of the quality of the football they're playing. They've been the two best teams by far. But Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola are giving high fives and hugs at the end of games, walking off. It would never have happened with Fergie and Wenger. Fergie and Wenger really hated each other. Keane and Vieira would have just literally squared off and headbutted each other until one passed out. Those games, and I don't want to sound like an old bloke, but the Premier League will never ever be better than that, in my opinion. Manchester United and Arsenal going toe-to-toe from like 97, I think it was, when Arsenal won the double. And then we came to, was it 98 they won the double? And then we won the treble the next year. From 97, 98 to 2005. Those two teams, in terms of quality, incredible. Arsenal, that team was incredible. Henry, Vieira, Pires, Bergkamp, great team. The Manchester United team, it's an impossible comparison. So I think it's genuinely laughable, honestly laughable. There are fans that think that. Now, look, there's a link to that video in the description. Could you please head over there? I've left a comment on the video. Just go and drop a like on that because it's blowing my mind. I know that it's probably been put out as a bit of bait and I'm nibbling on it, but I'm gobbling on that because it's just an outrageous shout. I just want to say that. Let's move on. Seeing as it's Good Friday and all that, let's not get too angry. Obviously, we all want the big news of Erik Ten Hag signing that deal. But as we all know, that won't happen before Sunday. So there's a couple of quotes here from Mike Verweij, the Dutch journalist from The Telegraph, on the situation that's happening. So let's run through these quotes, He's saying that the reason that we haven't heard anything about Anthony and Timber to United is because Ten Hag obviously hasn't signed yet. I think he'll sign it after the Cup final on Sunday, but after that, he'll see what the Manchester United squad needs. It strikes me that Ten Hag will already know what this squad needs. We'll already have had the conversations about what this squad needs, whether it's directly with the club or whether it's through his representatives. He'll semi-know, but he can't really focus on it because obviously they're in a Cup final. As I said, Leicester did Ajax a favour, I think. They knocked PSV out at home in the, Europa Conference League? Well, I mean, geez, if it was a Farmers League before, now what is that? Back Garden League? I don't know. We might be in though, so I can't say too much. I think Leicester have done Ajax a favour there, so hopefully PSV will be in a bad mood. But something else that he said was this. It was very close in the end, and this actually fills me with a nice bit of optimism, if I'm being honest. It was very close, but in the end, Manchester United is such a big club. They've made such a good offer on the football side as well. He couldn't reject it. Now, I'd like to, obviously we never will, but I'd love to know what that exactly what that offer was and is. And hopefully the Dutch journalists get hold of that information and we get more clarity once Ten Hag is signed, exactly what he has signed. But Mike Ravage there saying that the offer was just so good from Manchester United and including the football side that he simply couldn't reject it. So that must mean that Manchester United have really just ticked all the boxes that Erik Ten Hag asked them to tick. He gave them the not gave them the, they wrote the assurances into the contract. He's got the guarantees, baby. And that's something that I do not think any other manager had. They might have had lip service, they might have had handshakes, they might have had pats on the back and say, don't worry, we'll got you covered. And then ultimately, they got a bit stabbed in the back. Mourinho, I wouldn't say he got stabbed in the back, but he did get undermined when he was trying to sign Maguire. Do you remember that preseason when Mourinho looked like a slapped ass? Mourinho was miserable, absolutely miserable. And at that point, you were kind of like, okay, this is the beginning of the end, isn't it? This is the beginning of the end. Comment there from Ant, it's completely right. So I will bring this up. This is the anniversary of Hillsborough today. 97. Mothers, sons, daughters, husbands. Nobody should ever go to a football game and not come home. It's grim. Horrendous. So yeah, thoughts to all those who did lose their lives. It's the same with any football disaster. It's, as I said, you should always come home from a footy game. It's fucking grim. Absolutely grim that was. Moving on. We can talk about transfers. I spoke about, I've done a keep or sell video. I talked about, I've been waiting to talk properly about about transfers and new signings coming in, right? This is coming from Julian Laurens and Rob Dawson this morning from ESPN saying this. Erik Ten Hag is keen on signing Monaco midfielder Aurélien Tchouaméni. Now, we had a conversation yesterday about Tchouaméni, didn't we? We talked about the idea that if we're going to be signing players in these positions, who would be on that list? And Tchouaméni, for a lot of you, was arguably the top midfielder on that list. He's saying Monaco are open to negotiations regarding a move for their rising star this summer and will ask for a fee of 60 to 70 million euros. Yes, please. Absolutely, yes, please. I would say the caveat for that is that if we're looking at following the story, if we're looking at where the noise is coming from, with Tchouaméni, it's very much around Real Madrid. You know how we were kind of heavily linked-ish with a move for Eduardo Camavinga, but we all kind of knew he was going Real Madrid. In the same way that, yeah, we can go in this summer and offer X amount to Kylian Mbappe, but what's the point? We know he's going Real Madrid. In the same way, I think that we could go in and talk about Erling Haaland, but I think he's going Man City. So, Tchouaméni, I wouldn't put in that sort of scale. I don't think it's a definite that he's going Real Madrid, but it almost strikes me as sort of if United want to go in for Tchouaméni, that's not really one that we can rest on our laurels. That's one that we'll have to go in quick. And the idea down there, the idea, 60 to 70 million, what's that? 55-ish million pounds. I think that was a 50 to 60 million is the price I had in my head for the sort of midfielder that we need. Or you're saying Madrid already have Camavinga. Why would they go for Tchouaméni? Because it's Real Madrid and Real Madrid do what they want. There's no point looking at their squad for any sort of logic. It's just like Real Madrid sometimes. Oh, is it last summer that it's like, we haven't got any money. We haven't got any money. Oh, we're just building a new stadium. Kylian Mbappe, how much? You want 100 mil signing on? Yeah, go on in. Signing on, but how much? Yeah, 2 million. God knows how much they're going to pay him a week. All of a sudden, Real Madrid have got a ton of money again. And they're in the Champions League semi-final. And they're, 12 points clear at the top of La Liga? Well, it looks like they're doing all right. But, geez, they're going to have Mbappe. They might get Pogba. And no, you don't need Tchouaméni, man. Don't be selfish, lads. Gungshi, nice to see you down there in the comments, joining in a little bit late. Boss Bundy, this is a random comment. I'm going to read this one out. Why not? We deserve this. If we stuck with Van Gaal, at least we'd be closer to this type of football we are chasing. He tried everything Erik Ten Hag will attempt to bring. What I would say about Erik, comparing the situations, if we're talking about someone who the word philosophy and the word ideal, there's a lot of parallels you can do in terms of the semantics and the language used between Ten Hag and Van Gaal. Difference was when Van Gaal came in, it was the Ed Woodward show. And it was a clusterfuck. And then he got stabbed in the back after winning the FA Cup final. The conditions of the club were not there for someone like Louis van Gaal to be successful. And I'll be honest, his football was boring as fuck. Boring. Jeez, that sent you to sleep. The amount of 0-0s we had. I remember watching, I think it was United PSV in the Champions League. Cruel. It's cruel it was that bad. Erik Ten Hag, very different in that sense, right? That's something I definitely will say. Oh, crap, I tell you what. I've got it up here. I didn't forget about it, but I'll just mention it now. Let's bring it up. I don't know why I just did a little jingle. It's the map day, baby. It's Good Friday. Everybody, you let me know where you're watching from and what town, what country and what town, and I'll add a few of you onto the map. Make sure you drop a like on the video. Of course, those of you, if you don't know what this is, I do this every single Friday. Used to do it every single stream. Then everyone got bored of it. So I just keep it to once a week. So let me know where you're watching from. We've got now 263 points on the map. The last points were added were Baku, Azerbaijan, Muscat and Oman, Jeddah in Saudi Arabia, San Fernando in Trinidad, Sisimiut in Greenland. Hey, it's great. Look at that. Let's get one on straight away. Got AT watching on YouTube. AJ, sorry. Watching from Taman in Singapore. On you go, sir. Welcome aboard to the map. Make sure you drop a like on the video. Obviously. So Taman Jurong. There you go, sir. On the map you go. Boom. Let's get a couple more here. Look, Shafe. Hell no. Hell no. Hell yes. That was a bit rude. Ontario. I really want to go Canada. Really want to go. I think I told you before. I had like a 3-month trip plan there, and then COVID happened. So that didn't really work. Who we got down here? One more. Let's get one more on the map. Let's get one more on the map. Why am I singing? I have no idea. Oh, look at that. No, we've already got Manchester on there. Jeff, there you go. There's one more. Watching from Hurstville in Australia, mate. Sorry about that. I know that was pretty bad. Near Sydney. Very nice. On you go. 3 people on the map. Now, that is Good Friday. Thank you very much. I say this every single time. At some point, I think what I might do is try and turn this into a map that we can stick on the wall. Look at all these pins. How cool is that? All around the world, people watching United People's TV. It always puts a big, big smile on my face that the community is so well spread. And genuinely, I think it's a great community that we're building here, that we've started to build, that we'll keep building. And I'll tell you what, if we've come to this point after the last few years, imagine what could happen in the next few years, eh? We've got Erik Ten Hag to look forward to. We've got, it just feels like, I don't know. I'm filled with this real optimism now about Manchester United that I haven't had for a long time. And it's not just about the manager. It's about the decisions that the football club seems to be making now. And this might be a false dawn. Been here before. I've been stung before. So I'm not going all in, right? I'm not going all in. But it just feels like the club previously wouldn't have brought Radnick in. They wouldn't have gone for Erik Ten Hag over Pochettino. There's just things that are happening now that at this moment in time, it looks like we're making good decisions. Obviously, this summer is the big one, right? This summer, we've had a good conversation about it here this morning, right? This summer and whether or not we can get rid of the likes of Pereira, of Mata, of Grant, of Cavani, Lingard, Pogba, hell, even maybe Nemanja Matic. It's going to be a big overhaul. But as I said, if you go back to the 2014-15 season and you look at what happened in the first year under Louis van Gaal, this is where the precedent's been set. Man United spent nearly 200 million on new signings for Louis van Gaal, and we got rid of basically a whole old squad. That has happened before. We've backed a manager big in his first summer, and that's what we've got to do here. And we didn't have Champions League football. And I don't think Louis van Gaal had Champions League football. Of course he didn't. It was fucking David Moyes he came in after. So that was a season where we didn't have Champions League football. Again, fitting the pattern. Don't know how much that's going to be. 100 million? 150 million? Let's hope it's 100. Let's hope it's between 150 and 2. And I don't think that's outside the realms of possibility, given the fact that we're looking at £1 million a week on wages being saved on just the players leaving on a free transfer. Hell, we shouldn't have lost Paul Pogba on a free transfer. Twice. You know how embarrassing that is? That is so unbelievably embarrassing. And what's almost even more embarrassing is I think we offered him like $500,000 a week. Jesus. Anyway, I'm done with the Pogba story. And this isn't a Pogba witch hunt. Just Pogba is the most prominent example of it. Of this, what was and where we want to be. And he's just not part of that conversation. I don't care how good he is now. Go and be good somewhere else. Let's just move on. Move on. Hey, look, everybody, how are you feeling this morning? You let me know. Last 5 minutes or so, I'll just answer your questions. Ask me whatever you want. Good Friday. Ask me anything at the end of the stream. How about that? And I'll try and answer as many as I can. Let's try and be interactive. Let's try and be a little bit different. I'm loving the new camera, by the way, if I can say so myself. So drop a like on the video for that. I need to improve the colors a little bit, but I love how clear it is. I also need to work on the bit rate and the frame rate just so it's a little bit smoother. It's all in hand. It's all happening. As I always say, the money that you help support the channel with, whether it's a super chat, whether it's becoming a member, I put it back into the channel to try and make it bigger, better, and improve the quality, because I'm a big stickler for quality and production. Jason, Ten Hag's first season, does he have to win something or is it a free hit? Ten Hag's first season success is not measured by silverware. We really, as United fans, we have a responsibility to stick to, in our minds, be on a 3-year process. End of this season, it's about the bigger questions and the idea that if we're looking at that Ten Hag to-do list, number one on that list is about the football structure that comes behind him and the club. Good. Number two is about, what did I say number two was? Squad overhaul. Number three, no, player power. That's what it was. There's certain things that he's got to get rid of at this club before we can talk about building success and winning things. Hell, we might win the Europa League next year. That'd be great. Might win the Europa Conference League. I don't know. We might win a League Cup. But the measure of success for Ten Hag's next season will not be silverware. And any United fan that has that in their head, they need to get it out of their head. We have to start thinking long-term as a club. We're fucking nowhere near where we want to be. I don't give a crap about winning the League Cup, the FA Cup, or the Europa League. No offense to the competitions. But we've won all three since Fergie retired. And what's it done? Absolutely diddly squat. The only thing that can return some sort of arrogance back to Manchester United is the Premier League or the Champions League. And we are light years off winning both of those. So that's why next season it's just a free hit. Absolute free hit. Go down here. What are you saying? Zaid on Facebook. What about De Ligt? He could be tempted to play for Ten Hag again, maybe. I mean, yeah, he technically could. I don't think that we'll be going there. I don't think Juventus will be letting him go cheap. And I don't think we'd be spending like 50, 60s. I mean, how much did he go for? I think he went about 60, 70 million, didn't he? So he should be cheaper than that. But I can't see us spending big on a centre-back. Timber, if he comes in, you're probably looking in the region of 30 to 40. And I think that's fair. Win, you're saying, do you think if Ten Hag will get the full power of authority or not? It's obviously the big question. It's the big fear that United fans have. Will Ten Hag just become another yes man inside the power vacuum that is Manchester United? History tells us, yes, he will. But my instinct and my gut is telling me that United really are genuinely starting to switch and change that process inside the club. Without Ed Woodward there anymore and Richard Arnold genuinely delegating to the football side of things, I think we can be very optimistic about what is coming. All down here in the comments. How you doing, buddy? He's saying top four is an expectation for me. But most of all, I want to see a change into the right direction. Us fans have to be realistic. We are so far behind. Look, thank you very much for saying that, mate. And it's exactly what I said, and it's exactly how I feel. We really are just so far behind that we have to just don't think of trophies next year. And that's not me, this is Man United, you're accepting lower standards. No, I'm fucking placing myself in reality. We're shit. We're so far behind Liverpool and City. It is painful to watch them play. So we just have to accept that next year it's a write-off in terms of the idea of winning silverware. And the success next year is not about silverware. It's about comparing where we are at the start of the season to where we are at the end of the season. Are you seeing the identity? Has the player power started to diminish? Is Ten Hag starting to operate as a coach and being allowed to by the club? Yes, yes, yes. Then I would consider that season a success. Can we think of top four next season, says Himalayan? I think we can. I mean, that's kind of a rhetorical question. Of course we can. Top four should be where we're aiming. It's going to be difficult. Liverpool and City, that's two of them gone. And then if you're looking at the others, Spurs seem to be getting better under Conte. I think Arsenal will be better under Arteta next season. And Chelsea, I don't know whether they're going to be able to sign anybody because of the sanctions on Abramovich, but Chelsea are Chelsea. They probably will. They'll probably find a way. And then you've got United. It's going to be tough. Just like it's tough this year, but we fell massively short. Gungshi, thank you very much here, buddy. As always, your support for the channel, it does mean a lot. You're saying fans will need to be patient with Ten Hag. It will take time to get us up there challenging with the City and the Scousers. The players must be on the same page and be willing to adapt to Erik Ten Hag's ideas and system. They should have done the same thing with other managers, right? They should. This is the sort of thing that should have been going on the entire time. But with Ten Hag, as I said, it's different. It's a different sort of managerial appointment. And I've made that sort of clear as to why I think that's the case. And we've got a manager who's on the rise. I told you that. Poch, he comes with the history. And the mystery, Poch comes with history, Ten Hag comes with mystery. And it's that what if. It's like why it's so exciting to watch a young player come through into the first team, because you don't really know what's going to happen. What if he turns into a superstar? And that excitement takes you forward. It's why football has this incredible ability every single year to make you go, what if? Every single year you sign a new player and you're like, oh, what if? And that's what it is with Ten Hag, right? It's a lot of mystery, but I'm excited about it, man. I'm excited. Denver, you're saying, Sam, what's your thoughts on a planned protest by the 1958? I've been speaking to the lads. I can't go, but I've said to them, I really hope it works out. I really, really hope it works out. Anything that anybody is doing to support the anti-Glazer movement of the club, I will support. I've messaged them saying, look, I know I can't be there, but if you can send me over any footage, anything like that, I'll try and pull together a sort of video that I did similar for the European Super League protest. It seemed to go down very well. I think I hit the tone well. It was a tone that was full of anger. I remember doing that video. It's one of the videos I'm most proud of, if I'm being completely honest. And I'll happily do another one of those for this protest if it goes ahead and it draws the numbers that I hope it will. Peter, what's your potential lineup video for tomorrow? Video later on. No video on the potential lineup, Peter. As I said, I can't be asked talking about the games until I watch the game. The season is fucking done. Who starts against Norwich means diddly squat to me now after what I saw against Everton. Sod these players, man. I'm not talking about how Pogba shouldn't play because blah, blah, blah. Who else am I going to put in? They're all crap. Every single one of them. 2 decent performances against Everton and Leicester. We'd be right in there for the hunt of top 4. Instead, we're just going to have to sit and watch it. No way we're getting top 4. It's Spurs. I'll be very surprised at this point if Spurs take it away. Let's go down here and read a few more of your comments down. It's quite fun, actually. Next season's going to be unpredictable, says Rebecca. Well, that is definitely wrong. Wrong, right? It's definitely right. And Sam, if we end up in the Europa Conference, would you use it to blood the youth? Give it entirely to them and tell them they're playing for a place in the first team? Logic tells me yes. Logic tells me, of course, why wouldn't you? Reality tells me probably otherwise. I think it'll be a blend. And of course, it shouldn't just turn into like an under-18s team, right? It should be a place where the kids get some chances, but also for those kids to get real chances, they have to play alongside senior players. So it can't just be entirely the kids. I mean, I'll tell you what, there is a massive chance that we end up in the Europa Conference League. Seriously. Sam, you're saying, do you think the protest will end up postponing the game like the Super League? No. That was a one-off. That was an incredible show of fan power. And whether or not you agreed it was the right thing for United fans to storm in Old Trafford, I think it was the right fucking thing. Absolutely stand by that. And it made a statement. That won't happen again. That will definitely not happen again. And I don't think it would benefit United now for it to happen again. As a one-off, it made a statement. Now it should just be protests, continued protests, but more peaceful. So this one's a boycott. Fans stand outside the ground for 17 minutes, going in on 17 minutes for every year that the Glazers have owned the club. That's going to be it's a boycott rather than, oh no, it's a boycott and a protest at the same time, but, you know. And saying a horrible feeling will draw. We're definitely drawing tomorrow. Norwich are in a relegation scrap. Bottom of the league, they're probably going down. But if they're not going down, they have to win every game. And that has to start by playing United. What about Rudiger, says Anuj? He's free and Varane. He and Varane's CV partnership might work wonders. Yeah, it could be. And if you're looking at wages, you're probably looking at Cavani leaving and Rudiger coming in. And it's about the same. Could happen. Don't think it would. I think if we're going to sign a centre-back, it is going to be Timber. Let's go down here. Conference League is not a bad thing at this stage. I don't bloody know. Jeez. Look, I enjoyed that. That was a good show. I really enjoyed that. I'm going to wrap up now. I've got an interview coming up in just over half an hour, as I said, with Ajax, who is an Ajax fan, and I'm going to speak to him about Ten Hag. I want to find out from the perspective of the Ajax fans, what's their relationship been like with Ten Hag? Have there been any big plus points? Obviously, we know what the plus points are, but have there been any negatives? What's been going on? How do they feel about it? I'm going to do it in a sort of respectful way, considering they've got a cup final on Sunday, and all this has been going on in the week before. But it's the sort of, I want to find out the inside story from Ajax fans, truly what they think of Erik Ten Hag and whether or not we're just overhyping him. I'm looking forward to that. I think it's going to be a very, very good video. But thank you very much, everybody, for joining in today on Good Friday. No, I don't get the day off because I would miss you. Well, I'll miss you sometimes. I would miss you. But look, make sure you drop a like on the video. Thank you very much for joining in. Thank you very much, everybody, for your comments. Happy Easter weekend to one and all. I'll be here later on today with the interview with Ajax. And also I'll be here tomorrow with the match reaction after we draw against Norwich at Old Trafford. Yeah, we are going to draw. 100%. Take it easy, everyone.